Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by Tri-County Logging. Experienced in sustainable forestry practices, Tri-County Logging can help you manage your property by keeping your woods healthy and generate income. Serving southern and mid-Michigan for nearly 50 years, TriCountyLogging.com.
Hi everybody, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Silik and we've got an exciting show in store for you this week. We're going to take you to the Grayling area for a little cast and blast action. The guys were able to spend some time doing a little river fishing and then hitting the woods for some small game hunting. You won't want to miss that story. And speaking of the Grayling area, we've got another interesting segment in store for you this week too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have another story from the Grayling area, and we're going to be talking about the Camp Grayling expansion, which we've been doing on the show over the last month or two. And on this week's show, we're going to sit down with the National Guard and learn a little bit more from their perspective on what they would be doing on these proposed properties. We're also going to sit down with the MSU Shotgun team on this week's show, so lots of variety. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger, and it's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988, offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By Green Mark Equipment. Green Mark Equipment is a John Deere dealership network in southwest Michigan and northern Indiana. Green Mark provides sales and services to farmers, commercial businesses, large property owners, and homeowners. Information about pricing and products available can be found online at greenmarkequipment.com.
By G5 Outdoors, makers of the Quest and Prime bows, manufactured and designed in Memphis, Michigan. G5 offers a line of archery bows, broadheads, and accessories. On the web at g5outdoors.com.
This moment brought to you by DTE's Clean Vision.
We're on the north branch of the Asable. It's early October, and we're throwing some small streamers, trying to find a nice big brown trout. The fish spawn here in about 2 or 3 more weeks, so we have to pre-spawn right now. The biggest thing this year is the water levels are extremely low and things have been warm, but these fish are getting active. It's just been very, very sunny, and then today we got rain, so it should be good.
Well, yeah, so Jordan told me the other day he was coming up here to do a cast and blast with Kelly and one of his buddies. Kelly we've had on the show before, and I said, cast and blast, that sounds kind of fun. So we're on the Asable tonight, and then the plan is hopefully catch a handful of nice fish, and then tomorrow we're doing the blast of the cast and blast, so we're going to do a little bird hunting, which is right up my alley. So Jordan was running the camera, and I thought I'd tag along and see if I can't stumble into a trout and maybe a grouse tomorrow. So it's a early October, just a perfect time to be outside, and I'm looking forward to tonight and tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. I'm legendary for not being able to catch anything on a fly, so this is a streamer, so it's a little bit.
What we got there?
Just a little guy. Oh. You gotta be kidding me.
Well, Looked like a brown. Ooh, what was that?
Bam, a grouse. Well, there was our cast and our blast.
I was gonna say. Oh, I just came back from the Betsy from the last 6 weeks of guiding there, and some of the early fish, we keep a few of them, and they're just wonderful in my smoker. And there's still some salmon coming in.
What's going on with the fish tonight?
This is the only fish that's shown itself today. I've got to try some of this.
Just watch out for the bones.
Yeah, the fish are definitely winning tonight. Thank you, sir. What's your secret brine you use?
I just used brown sugar and salt, a cup of each, and a gallon of water.
Yeah.
And slow smoke.
Well, no fish were harmed in the filming of this segment, that is for sure. But it was still a beautiful night to float down the Osable River. We were hoping that things would go, well, a little bit better the next morning. Bam, a grouse. Well, we're hoping for good things on the blast because the cast did not work as well. Well, there was a lot of casting, just not a lot of catching. So we're just getting ready to get on the ground here for our blast of our cast and blast. It's a perfect day to be bird hunting. There's a little bit of a breeze. It's high 30s. Sun's kind of poking through the clouds right now. From what I hear, we've got a couple good dogs we're going to be chasing, so should be a great day. I'm looking forward to it.
We're around Higgins Lake, I guess you could call it, south of Higgins Lake, hunting closest cities, Roscommon, and trying to shoot a couple grouse and shoot some woodcock. We've had a couple points, just couldn't get on them. Got an English setter, Mystic, and Honey's out with us right now. Hopefully we can kill a couple and she can retrieve them for us.
Tell me a little bit about what kind of cover you're looking for.
Well, right now we're looking for popples, obviously. Whereas right now we're kind of on the edge of some tags and stuff, but once we get back to the road, we get back in the popples and hunt those edges, and we'll cross the road and hunt an edge of a swamp. You know, right now we're just kind of following the dog's nose and got off track, but you know, the dogs know more than we do, right?
Oh, it's sitting right here. The bird's right here, Jordan. Right by those leaves. I'm gonna have a tough time shooting here, probably.
Well,
We can send the dog in.
hold on, Jim. All right,
Oh,
you're
big
good.
pockets. Oh, can't shoot.
God, I was scared I was gonna go.
I had a feeling he was gonna go right at me.
That's all right. That was a cool video.
No,
No,
he
but
didn't.
that video was sweet.
He went right over top of your hat.
You can use that, can't you?
Oh yeah.
That's all right. I mean, it just flew over my head, and I.
No, you did all you could.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they stick around for a while. They're pretty smart.
That was cool, though.
Dog nubbit. Well, we were finding plenty of birds, but having a tough time getting many good shots, which is usually how it goes in the bird hunting world, especially early season when the leaves have yet to drop.
Right there! Kelly!
What happened out there? Oh, I shot.
Here!
I missed.
Come on!
You like that?
Oh! Well, had some excitement, and I was
He's gonna bring it to me.
dead on
Come here,
on
man.
this limb. We had 2 woodcock. Hey, we got a woodcock. We had 2 woodcock, actually 3 woodcock and a grouse all come out of about a
Come here.
30 by 30 area here in the woods.
Want her to bring it to you?
I don't think I got it, but somebody did.
Come on, man.
Let's see that bird. Well, we are definitely finding enough birds today. We probably have 20 woodcock at least. Most of those are pointed, some wild flushes, which this one was, but this was a point. Bird went up, the grouse came out of a tree, and then we wild flushed 2 woodcock in here, and one of them flew right out to Kelly. It must have died of old age, because
He died of fright.
right when his gun went off.
Missed it. Lots of birds. Just a little better shooting. Probably have, 4 or 5. But we finally got one. Lots of good points and some wild flushes. But been a good hunt.
I was just right behind him.
A little better shooting. It was nice.
No,
Once you say, Jim, that woods weren't as thick.
Yeah, we could actually see in there.
That's why Eagle Eye Kelly got his bird.
Tell me about our pup here today.
So Mystic from Kansas. You know, when I spent time in Colorado, I mean, he is an English setter. He looks a lot like a Brittany, but he's got a long tail. But he's out of a breeder in I'd say northwestern Kansas. And he was really bred for quail, but he's adapted since we moved back to Michigan the last few years. And runs a little big, but that's all right. He holds point pretty well.
It went down, didn't it?
There we go. That's a cool video. She brings it to Dad all the time. I didn't kill this bird, but she just wants to give it to her dad.
I think this is the bird that we had a nice point on just, I don't know, 50, 60 yards back there. We got that, but the bird didn't seem to be there. Shut the camera off. We started to move, and it had walked off, as they do. These little woodcock have gotten really pretty fast on their feet. But dog relocated on it, and able to get a nice shot, and finally it stayed out of the leaves. So, wow, what a good hunt today.
So originally I got her. She was my duck dog, and we lived in Colorado. And I've always had setters. And now that I'm back in upland country, she's kind of worked in with, you know, she's not the best working with the pointing dog, but she stands by me, and she's good at finding those cripples or finding the dead birds. Where it's kind of nice. She'll be looking for the dead ones, while Mystic can still try to find the ones that we're hopefully going to kill again. But she's really good to have around, because you saw, I mean, there's been birds I haven't found, and one I found with him. And I'm not super loyal to one breed. It's nice. I mean, I've had English setters my whole life, but it is nice having her along with me. Never, here it is.
Special thanks to Kelly and Cam for letting me tag along today. I've been out a handful of days so far, and from what I've seen, bird numbers seem pretty good. And as the leaves drops, hopefully the shooting will improve as well. But fish or no fish, birds or no birds, walking or floating through the woods in early October as the leaves change, well, there isn't much better here in Michigan's Out of Doors. Well, as you can see, we had a lot of fun there in the Grayling area. The fishing didn't quite go as planned, but you know, sometimes that just happens. But speaking of the Grayling area, that's been kind of a hot topic over the last several months. The Camp Grayling expansion is something that we've been talking about here on the show for a little while now. We sat down with the anglers of the Au Sable as well as the Michigan United Conservation Clubs to kind of get their perspective on this proposed expansion of about 160-some thousand acres of current state property that would be leased to the National Guard. Well, we thought it was only fair to sit down with the National Guard and find out a little bit more about what they would do on these properties and how that would affect us as Michigan sportsmen. Well, we are here today with Colonel Myers here at the National Guard post here in Grayling, and just before we kind of get started, Colonel, tell me what goes on here at this piece of property.
You bet. So Camp Grayling is a rotational unit training facility. And what that means is we don't have any permanent presence of large organizations or units that are stationed here. So what we do here is we host exercises, we host training events for the National Guard, of course, active duty, Army Reserves, Air Force, National Guard, Marines train here, Navy trains here, Navy SEALs, Special Forces, all rotated into this training space to get after the challenges, of course, that they potentially face. So just quickly as an example, Northern Strike was the last major exercise we just had here in August. We had just under 8,000 troops here, over 1,000 Marines were here, Army National Guard from 19 different states were here, wow. Active duty and those likes that I mentioned.
Gotcha. So this expansion that you guys are looking to do, kind of tell me a little bit about, you know, why you want to do that and what would happen on those properties.
You bet. So there's a reason, of course, we're asking for it, and the dynamics of the threats that we see are rapidly changing. And so how do we get after those challenges? And so looking at the future potential warfare, getting out to distance is our biggest challenge. Replicating those distance for those service members training is what we're trying to do. So with that being said, we're not interested in, of course, of more live fire areas. I have plenty of those. We're not interested in more impact areas. I have plenty of those. No more tank trails. I have over 482 miles of tank trails, so not interested in expanding those. What we're interested in is, however, sending smaller formations of soldiers, of those Marines, out into distances greater than 20, 30 kilometers, setting up and be able to test communications with them, make sure they can communicate those greater distances, see what cyber effects we could have on them, and giving that training that they require for the next fight.
Okay. And so I know currently the property that you have here is open to sportsmen for certain different times. Would that also be for the expanded area, would that be open to people could still use from time to time, or how's that going to work?
Absolutely. So we have all kinds of different types of lands. Obviously, our impact areas are the areas that are fenced off. We don't want people going into those specific areas for safety concerns. But all of our short-term lease is open now to the public. Long-term lease is a little bit different. That's based on training facilities. But all the new areas that we're asking for would fall into that short-term lease category. And what that means is everything would stay open to the public. So there'd be no limitations to any hunters, any ORV riders, any snowmobilers. We're actually looking at expanding some of those ORV trails and things in areas that we manage. So all of it would remain open all the time.
So how would that work with when you do training on those properties? Would they be shut down just for a little while, maybe? Or
no, what we'd ask, I mean, obviously, if we have troops set up, so picture 30, 40 troops out in the woods, camping military style with, new camouflage, picture antennas coming out of their vehicles, wheeled vehicles only, even, consider or think of side-by-sides, but a military version. You see the troops in the woods, wave to them, thank them for their service. Feel free to ask them questions, and then enjoy the same Northern Michigan experience.
Gotcha.
As you always would.
And as far as the rivers, I know the El Sabo runs through there, and I think maybe even some of the Manistee. Do you see much impact really on the river systems that would be in those areas?
We don't see any impact. We're not interested in expanding training areas over any of those waterways, especially obviously those two rivers. So we have other areas that we can train in water operations. That's not what we're looking to do at all. So we've offered, the DNR has asked for a 1,500-foot buffer. We quickly said, yeah, we don't have any interest in training alongside the rivers. Anything of the new areas, we have to use existing roads and trails. We can't go cutting down, areas to bivouac. We have to use what's already there.
Okay. And so if you were speaking to the Michigan sportsman out there who is saying, I don't know why the DNR would even consider giving away all this property, what do you say to those folks?
DNR will still own and manage the property. We're not asking that this would be Camp Grayling property. We would just be another user out there. So the DNR would still manage it. They would still own it. All those that recreate up here in Northern Michigan would have the same feeling as they do today. Again, they might see soldiers out there, and it's really just around our major exercises. So really we're talking a few weeks out of the year. And again, just wave to them. They want to be a part of that community. We depend on community and everything that we do. So I would say zero impact, and especially along the waterways. We're just not interested in those areas for this types of training.
Gotcha. Well, appreciate your service, and thank you for your time today.
You bet. Thanks, Jimmy.
Well, as you can imagine, this is a big topic of discussion for folks that hunt and fish in that part of the state, and many of us that travel through that part of the state as well. And even some of the fishing and hunting that we did on this week's show would be in some of these expanded areas. So we'll keep you posted. We don't have a great idea really of when some of these decisions will be made. We did ask the DNR for an interview, and they declined to comment, which I thought was a little interesting, but then nonetheless, that's what they did. We'll do our best to keep you informed. What we're going to do right now is head to the Lansing area and learn a little bit more about the Michigan State Shotgun Team. We have a lot of good sportsmen's clubs all around the state, and a week or so back I was at one of them to see and learn about the MSU Shooting Team.
Yeah, so we're at Capillary Sportsman's League. This is in Lansing here, so it's just like 20 minutes outside of Michigan State's campus. I'm Nate Satley. I'm the vice president of the MSU Shotgun Team. I've been on the team for like 2 years. I'm a junior at MSU. Today we're just doing a practice. We'll be working on our skeet shooting skills today. We'll have some trap shooting going on as well. We've got Coach Bob and Coach Darrell out here today. They're going to be helping us kind of like perfect our game before we go to Hillsdale this weekend for what is that? I believe the Michigan State Virtual League Championship is what the title of it is. So yeah,
And how many shooters do you have on this team?
We've got about 30 right now, so it's split into JV and varsity. My varsity team right now is looking at about 19 shooters, and then JV is about 11.
Nate ran me through what was happening here today and a little bit about the club hosting today.
Either our coach or one of our captains will sit back here and score, and they'll shoot 50 trap in a row. So they'll do line 25, line 25, and then we send those scores into like a big database, and then compete against those 5 schools I mentioned earlier. And then that tournament at the end of the month.
So the club's been pretty good to you guys?
Yeah, they've actually been really awesome. Castle's been really great to us. They stay open for us like after hours and stuff. They actually aren't usually open on Tuesdays, but they stay open for us. They open for Thursdays too for us as well, since that's our JV team practice.
Okay.
What else have they done for us? Just a ton of things. They've worked with us a lot with like, it'd be expensive for all of us to get memberships. So they just avoided that, and they were like, you guys can just pay for targets, and you guys can just shoot here as much as you want.
Now, is this a club sport or like a sport through?
Club sport right now, yep. So we're totally independently funded.
Finding your niche at a big school like State can be a little hard to do, but with a little effort you can find some really great folks, especially in the shooting world.
I've been shooting competitively for about 10 years, so I knew I always wanted to shoot while I was in college, and I found this place at an event MSU puts on called Participation, which is where all the clubs set up on a field and you go out and meet them all.
It was pretty cool to see the coaches in action, and I always learn a lot when listening to good shooting tips.
See over there, I think you're in front.
I think so too. When
so
you just
I think
pointed
just
that
a
out.
6-inch lead is all you need to give it.
Yep.
And so why don't we throw a pair? Why don't you just try, because I know I'm going to change a couple things on 8 for you, but let's try your feet more like this. You're close. Well, let's just get them a little closer as far as, yep. So whenever you're on the skeet field, you can change this a little bit. You know, you can tweak it for individual needs, but whenever you're on the skeet field and you're going around, toes, belly, go at the house as a right-hander. As a left-hander, they go at this house. A little different on 8. On 8, as a right-hander, when you get to the first station, your feet can be anywhere from 90 to 45 degrees.
I was able to talk with Daryl Sokol, the head coach, to learn more about the virtual match happening today and how he got started coaching.
We're doing a virtual shoot. It's virtual shoot is basically where we shoot at our home range against 5 other schools. They're shooting at their ranges. We all submit the scores. Then at the end we look after 5 weeks, which this is the last week. There will be some awards given out on that, and then Saturday we shoot a collegiate state championship down at Hillsdale.
Okay, and how'd you get into this coaching deal here?
Well, my daughter came on the team, and when she came on the team, the spot opened up, and they asked me if I would take the job, and so I did.
Nice. And how long have you been doing it?
This will be 4th season.
Okay. And what kind of stuff are you working on with these kids? Where do they need improvement?
As far as some of them, it's fundamentals. You know, working out, building fundamentals. Other ones, it's mostly comes down to the mental game. You know, working on, you know, the thought process, seeing, you know, using your sight picture to get yourself to that next bird, to build yourself to that next bird. The mental game is, you know, 85% of this. You know, it's 15% is fundamentals, and you know, 85 I believe is mental. You know, once you've got it down.
Okay. And then any tips for the average shooters out there like us that are going to be bird hunting here soon? What are common mistakes you see shooters make?
Don't stop swinging the gun. I see that all the time. You know, there's a lot of missed birds out here are because, boom, you got to keep the swing going, swing through your pull.
It was pretty cool to see the virtual match happening, but also the fun games that these guys play just to make it more enjoyable for the shooters.
Yeah, so right now we're just doing a little bit of a drill. So Coach Bob has us sitting on station 1 right now, and you're going to shoot a high house, a low house, and then a pair. If you break all 4, you can go on to the next station. If you miss 1 target or any more than that, you got to go back and reshoot it. So I just went down to station 2. It took me 3 tries. Low house is giving me some issues, but
It was a great day on the range today. New shooters getting some great coaching. Veteran shooters competing with schools across the state from their own club, which was really cool to see. And the local sportsman's club, well, they were helping to facilitate all of it. Good luck to the team, and from one Sparty to another, go green.
Thank you so much for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. If you're in the southeast part of the state, this Saturday, I will be at MJC Archery in Royal Oak from 10 to 4 this Saturday, October 15th. If you're in the area, stop by and say hello. If you'd like to see where we are and where we're headed next, you can always check us out online.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Online is a good way to kind of keep tabs on us. You can do that through our website, our different social media platforms, as well as YouTube. So lots of places you can be checking us out, and make sure that you are joining us over the next couple of weeks. It is a great time of the year to be a sportsman, and we're doing our best to get our cameras around the state to tell your story here on Michigan Out of Doors. And so if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by.
Do you dream of somewhere bigger than your backyard? You can get there with Greenstone. Whether you want to hunt, fish, hike, or just watch the sunset, we're ready to help you own your place in the great outdoors. To learn more, visit greenstonefcs.com.
By Alta Equipment Company, providing sales, rentals, service, and parts because uptime matters. From earth moving to landscaping and light construction, Alta offers over 50 brands across 7 Michigan locations to serve you. More information online or 844-GO-2-ALTA.
By Jay's Sporting Goods, with locations in Clare and Gaylord. Jay's has been serving the Michigan outdoor enthusiast since 1971, with a wide variety of outdoor products. The gear, the knowledge, the tradition of Jay's. On the web at jaysportinggoods.com. Closed captioning provided by Marvo Mineral, makers of Lucky Buck, deer management products including minerals to supplement deer diets year-round to improve health and antler growth.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, East to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land.